rise together back to the moon and beyond.
This methane would be igniting the flare, correct?
Yikes. You dead? We don't need any more of these.
Welcome to another NSF live stream. Tonight, we are looking at a Falcon 9 on Slick 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. This is booster 1081.4, and today we're doing some science. Today, we are launching the PACE mission for NASA, and I say we, of course I mean SpaceX, but we are, as usual, live streaming this for y'all. I'm Jack Beyer, your host for tonight's stream. I see people in the chat saying 5x5, so I know you can hear me. Thank you for that. As usual, we have our competent collective of co-hosts, starting off tonight with Mr. Adrian Beal. Adrian, how you doing?
I'm doing absolutely great. I'm looking forward to launch some science here today. So we are just under 1 hour away here from Falcon 9 launching, and we know it's 1 hour away because it's an instantaneous or almost instantaneous launch window. So it's either that time or not today.
Yeah, we should talk about that launch window here in a minute. It's like functionally instantaneous, if not, it's not literally instantaneous, but it might as well be. Also, joining us from the field tonight, we have Mr. Max Evans. Max, do we have you?
I sure hope so, Jack. How do you have me?
It sounds like you're out in the field at Kennedy Space Center and/or Cape Canaveral Space Force Base, but we have you.
I mean, that's pretty much where I am, and it is lovely to hear you guys' voices again. It's been too long. Good evening, everybody, from a rather chilly and breezy evening here at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Max, for rolling out. And as always, we've got a producer in the background. Today we have Mr. Kevin Michael Reed, so thank you to him for running in the giant human-sized hamster wheel that makes things go. So tonight, as Max alluded to, it's been a little while, it feels like, since the last launch. This will be SpaceX's 11th launch of the year, and first this month, even though it's already February 7th. So, dang old weather, I think, is the headline there, right, Max?
I believe so, yeah. It hasn't really been behaving over the past few days. This El Nino that's been washing over the entirety of the country tonight has been not pleasant, I guess one could say. Winds here were gusting between 25 and I think 50 knots here at certain locations across the Cape. Certainly way too strong to launch in. And tonight it is still a bit breezy. I think it's only peaking around 18 knots though, which is within the launch criteria for Falcon 9 for both liftoff and landing at LZ1. So far, I think everything is looking in the green.
Excellent. Well, hopefully SpaceX can thread the needle here. Adrian, my good buddy, tell us a little bit about tonight's payload. What is PACE, and what's it going to do once it gets on orbit?
Yeah, the good thing about PACE is that it kind of describes to you what it does with its name, because PACE stands for Plankton, Aerosol, Cloud, Ocean, Ecosystem. And it's a NASA Earth observation satellite which will observe exactly this. It will observe the carbon cycle, aerosols, it will observe phytoplankton, and basically help us improve our understanding of especially air quality. These will be the things that this satellite will be mainly used for. It will, that we can see, by the way, it in the fairing here. It's about 1,700 kilograms. Its destination will be a Sun Synchronous Orbit, and yeah, it's one of these environmental monitoring satellites which provide data for us to understand on our planet, and also the changes that are going on with it, especially with the air quality and everything, better. So very exciting project here that we can see PACE, quite a unique way and shape here. And yeah, looking forward to see the launch tonight here. And of course, as Max said earlier, we are looking at B1081.4, so the fourth flight for this booster. And the other exciting part of this mission is we will see a landing zone return to landing zone 1. So we also see an RTLS, as there's no drone ship recovery needed for this launch.
Always love to see an RTLS. Always a treat. You get the like Falcon Nebula going on as the plumes of the second stage and first stage interact, and then of course you get the sonic booms. It's just can't go wrong with an RTLS. These pre-encapsulation videos and the post like showing it inside the fairing, I always love these because the fairing without the rocket just looks so ungainly in the same way that the satellite on Earth looks so weird and wrong because, you know, it's designed to be in space.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in general, I love to talk more about like payloads and show these payloads because after all, yes, launches is a vehicle, right? But these launchers have a purpose, and today's purpose again is a very special one with PACE. And it's always cool to discover why are we doing, like why is SpaceX doing this? Why is NASA launching this? Like why are they doing all of this? And I think especially environmental monitoring is one of these things that are very well done from space. So a great purpose for sure.
Yeah, it's one of those things where these sort of scientific Earth observation missions are among my favorite just because it's like all of the people that, I mean, we all know, we've all heard it, I'm sure, as fans of spaceflight. Like, why are we wasting time going to space? This is such a waste. It's just blah. That sort of attitude can hopefully be immediately, if not dispelled, significantly quelled by being like, yeah, well, weather monitoring, climate monitoring, kind of important, and space-based assets are sort of prime for that. So love to see some more scientific capability getting launched into orbit. And speaking of the payload, speaking of PACE, we do have a neat interview to show you all a little bit later in the broadcast. So stay tuned for that if you are hankering to learn more about what PACE will be doing.
Can we also talk about the trajectory of this one, Jack?
Yeah, please, let's talk about the trajectory. Which way is it going? North, east, south? A combination of two of those?
It's the southern polar launch corridor.
Oh, you set this up, didn't you? That's why you were so excited to talk about it. That's why.
Look at that. Look how beautifully polar it goes.
It's the worst thing. I would rather be looking at a train wreck.
You love this one, right?
As a West Coast person, no, I don't like the Southern Polar Corridor, except I do. I'm glad it lets more missions be launched from Florida. It's just fun to be angry about things for fun sometimes. I can just picture... Max hasn't made a sound, but I imagine Max is squealing with delight right now.
It's just funny. Whenever you get angry about this wonderful corridor that we have in Florida, it's such a pleasure to hear you get a little upset every single time. It's so funny.
Well, it's ours. You're taking our missions. Those are our missions, Max. Why are you taking our missions? They're ours. We get the southern launches. You get the other ones. We had a deal.
Did we though?
There's another thing that might make Max happy here or not, because we cannot fully rule out yet if this might have a stubby nozzle or not.
Oh, that's a really good point.
That is also true.
Yeah.
Can we get
don't know.
Can we get a poll in chat what people think the nozzle on tonight's mission is going to be? Let's see if we can do that. As usual on our streams, we have some rails, and part of those rails are if you have any questions that you want to ask about tonight's mission, just at NASA Spaceflight, throw your question into chat, and we will see it pop up in some handy dandy software we have running in the background. And we're just about 51 minutes and 30 seconds to go. So we will stand by here. And then I think we should probably talk about the window next, Adrian. But first, I am going to thank some people. Bjorn Kroger, thank you for becoming a PadRat member. Adrian, how would you pronounce that name? Did I do a good job?
That would be Kröger.
Kroger. Like that?
Yes.
I'm learning. Thank you so much, Bjorn, for becoming a PadRat member. RC Horseman, always popping up and gifting memberships. Thank you so much for gifting 5 Red Team memberships. If you got a membership from somebody on this stream, or if you get one, be sure to thank them, because they're awesome for doing it. Paul McFadden, also awesome, gifting 5 Red Team memberships. Elizabeth Hupner? Can I get an Adrian? Can I get a German check, Adrian?
That's no problem. That's Hupner.
Hupner.
O and E means O, so it's Hupner.
All right. Well, we're getting a rocket launch and we're getting pronunciation lessons tonight. Thank you for gifting 10 red team memberships, Elizabeth. We have Mom of Three. Three-is? Thank you for gifting a red team membership, and Brandon Meyer gifting 10 red team memberships. Thank you so much, y'all. The membership program is the bedrock on which everything we do is placed. Y'all are the foundation, so thank you for doing what you do and supporting us, and we hope you enjoy all the cool perks. And if you just got a membership, check out the cool perks, because now you have them. All right, Adrian, tell me about this window tonight. We talked about that at the start of the stream. It's functionally instantaneous, but it's not literally instantaneous. What's going on there?
So it's functionally instantaneous in the way that as soon as they are targeting something and they will commence the countdown, they are locked into that single second. However, the overall window is about 90 seconds long that they can target tonight. And right now they are about targeting just shortly after the middle of that window. 4 seconds to the right of the window, actually. So it's functionally instantaneous because we are just talking about like a 90-second window. So it's basically instantaneous, and also Falcon 9, of course, has the situation that as soon as countdown has started and as soon as they commence fueling, there's no longer a wiggle room for the loading, and they are basically locked into a single second. So not really a matter in the overall picture today in terms of launch countdown, but just something that is maybe like a technicality here.
It's technically correct, which is the best kind of correct.
Yeah. If somebody on the street approaches you and is like, "Oh, did you hear about that PACE launch that it's instantaneous?" You can be like, "Oh, but hold, it is actually not instantaneous. It's a 90-second window where they're targeting just up." So it's a very special case. The discussion comes up very rarely.
Right. We have a poll in chat. What nozzle do you think will be on the second stage? Option A is regular boring nozzle. Option B is awesome best stubby nozzle. Who wrote this poll?
Yeah, it's like, who did this?
I bet it was Kevin. I blame Kevin.
Does somebody in chat was like, "I think I should report this poll"? Kevin said it wasn't him.
I don't believe him. Let's do some questions. Here's one from Justin S. I'm just going to throw this one in here with not giving anybody time to prep. What was the mission that first featured the stubby nozzle? If we don't know it, Alex will, and he's in our back channel, so he'll tell us in a second. I can see he's typing already.
Wasn't it a Starlink out of Vandenberg? I think.
Was it?
I think it was out of Vandenberg. I swear.
All right. Well, we'll just have to take your word for it, Max, because Alex is being Alex. We'll see if he lets us know in chat.
Will not spill the beans on this one, so I guess we're gonna have to go hunting.
I think Alex is trying to mutiny right now. Here's one that's kind of interesting.
It was Transporter Z7.
Aha! So it wasn't a Starlink, but it was a Vandy mission. Ooh, Transporter 7? Wow, that feels like a long time ago. Have we really been blighted by that horrible nozzle for that long?
Yes.
Ugh.
That's the sad reality. Yes.
I will say, I do have a secret fondness for the stubby nozzle because it led to me being able to ask Tom Mueller if the stubby nozzle was good or bad on our recent interview of him on NSF Live. So if you haven't watched that, do check it out.
And also, just to point that out, we are just having fun with this tribalism. We don't actually hate it.
Yeah, sometimes it's fun. It's fun to just do a tribalism.
Yeah.
Like, not seriously. More missions is more better. I think we can all agree. Let's see here. Jared is asking, will this launch be visible from North Carolina? Can we get the trajectory back up? No. The answer is no. It's going straight south. Sorry, buddy. If you are anywhere south of Kennedy in Florida, you're good to go. If you're, in the Bahamas or the Caribbean or any of that sort of area, you're good to go. But no. Eastern and northern seaboard on this mission is unfortunately out of luck. here's kind of a cool question we can go around the horn on a little bit, which is something I've been thinking about a little bit recently too. Hanan Copeland, I'm probably butchering your name, I'm sorry. They're saying, why are the Vandy missions getting delayed all the time, and is there a way to engineer around this issue? So there's a lot to unpack here. Let's start off with Vandy mission delays. Tonight, there was supposed to be a mission tonight from Vandy, I believe, a Starlink, but that is delayed due to a 24-hour stand down that NASA requested. Is that correct, Max?
Apologies, Jack. I was dealing with some microphone issues. Would you mind saying the question again?
The mission that we were supposed to get a double header tonight, Starlink out of Vandy, but that was delayed due to the 24-hour stand down rule that NASA requested SpaceX invoke here, right? Is that how that worked?
I am only familiar with the 24-hour stand down rule here at the Cape. I don't know exactly why that would affect operations over in Vandenberg. I think the first thing that comes to mind is I think NASA wants top priority on all of the SpaceX personnel on launch control and the LCC to have their full attention on, of course, what would be the priority mission to launch from. So that would be the first thing that comes to mind. Maybe Adrian can help out with that one a little bit.
Yeah, basically the reason is not directly related to conflicting launch pads. It's basically it's about reviewing the data. It's about reviewing the last launch and implementing what you learned to the next. That's the reason for this 24-hour thing. So it's not directly related to if the launch pads are next to each other. It's more. It's almost sometimes sounding like more of an historic reason than a practical from like today's time. But yeah, so that's the reason why this also affects the Vandenberg Starlink, even though they are on different coasts.
There's also the issue of the crazy atmospheric river that is currently slamming California, which has scrubbed previous attempts of this mission. And I can confirm it's wet and raining like crazy in Los Angeles. But the reason I wanted to bring this up is because it's not just Vandy missions that have been delayed due to weather. This very mission has been delayed due to weather. And the question is asking, is there a way to engineer around this issue? So, I don't know. Max, Adrian, do you think at some point we'll see SpaceX increasing the envelope of what Falcon 9 can handle? I mean, is that something that we think might happen, or they'll just sort of deal with the constraints that they already have? Because if they're trying to hit 100+ launches this year, any amount of weather, I mean, they're going to start running into the just physical limitations of what weather they can launch through. Max, I'll let you ramble first.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's kind of a lot to unpack there, especially with the Block 5 version of Falcon 9, in that SpaceX has pretty much wrapped up development on both the first stage and the second stage.
Right.
You know, Falcon 9 is one of the more vulnerable rockets when it comes to wind shears and cloud cover, unfortunately, just due to the way it's engineered. So basically, Falcon 9 is as tall as it can be right now for how skinny it is, and the diameter of its tanks is essentially determined because it was designed and built to be transported on public roads, and because it's so skinny, that makes it more vulnerable to high level winds. And it wouldn't make it, with Starship eventually coming online, hopefully in the next few years, and its capabilities, I don't think it would make a whole lot of sense to pour a whole lot of resources into further Falcon 9 development when it already performs well enough as is for both drone ship landings and when they're able to perform a return to launch site. So yeah, in my opinion, that there isn't really a way to, I guess, quote unquote, engineer around that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And like you said, to a certain extent, Falcon 9 dev has sort of wrapped up, and SpaceX is turning its attention to Starship. But then again, you see things like stubby nozzle, for example, where they still are doing tweaks here and there they deem necessary. Adrian, any thoughts before we move on, as we are about T-minus 40 minutes to go here?
Yeah, I mean, you get also the situation of Falcon 9 being very light when it comes down from space to land. So you have like a second restraint there, right? Because you have the launch and landing situation, and then you have a very light rocket that is probably easy affected by wind, coming down and trying to land precisely. But it gets even worse when you try to land out in the sea. So yeah, it's Falcon 9 probably has a lot of things right now that make it a bit iffy with weather, but to be fair, they have said that they want to design that out with Starship and get it a bit more, a bit better envelope with weather. So we'll see how that goes.
Deal. Good question. That was a really good one. By the way, I am loving these views that we are getting tonight. These are absolutely fantastic. You can see the low-lying fog or condensation, or is that a vent? I'm not sure. Either way, this is just some truly epic rocket views. And the new tower at Slick 40 is looking great.
Can they replace every single light that is white with blue?
I can abide by that. I'm generally a sodium vapor guy. I like the orange, of course. It's orange. But these look pretty sick.
Yeah. Look at this shot with the blue and the green. Like that's cool.
Yeah, I am absolutely loving these views. Let's see here. Bideford, thank you so much for the $50 super chat. That's insane. Always coming out with the huge amounts of support. Thank you so much, Bideford. They say, I see the best space coverage channel anywhere, and here's to everyone at NSF. Off topic. Anyone know time of Axe 3 splashdown? Do we know when Axe 3 is going to splash down?
I'm right now looking up if there's already a time communicated of exact splashdown.
I think it was between 8:30 a.m. and 9 a.m. tomorrow morning Eastern.
Yeah.
If that sounds right.
Yeah, Alex also saying Friday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. Was not sure if it like fully has it probably has a bit of wiggle room still. What we'll see.
Makes sense. Yeah, they were also delayed. What was it, due to weather?
Oh no, longer in space. How bad?
Yeah, this is the worst thing that's ever happened. Oh, jeez.
I wonder if there's like a daily briefing where they're like, oh, you have to come down, and they're like, but no, we don't feel safe with the weather.
I do wonder how that works because, normally time and space is so valuable that when you have a mission, everything is very detailed in terms of schedule, all the way down to, you can see right there, 8:30 a.m. Per SpaceX's website for splashdown. But yeah, everything is so orchestrated and scheduled that even like free time is a scheduled thing, and you don't get unlimited amounts of it. But if you suddenly get extra days on orbit due to a recovery delay because of weather or something, like, do you already have a contingency for that, and you already have a notional schedule that you then follow, or is it suddenly just like, bam, you get a day of free time in space? Because that's if the latter, that's kind of amazing. It's like a space snow day.
I guess also probably at that point your department procedure is basically like your departing procedure is basically all day, so you kind of recycle the departing procedure every day, right?
I think we are getting the countdown net.
Operators, this is the launch director with abort instructions. For non-urgent no-go conditions, brief the CE or LD, and they will approve aborting the countdown. For urgent issues affecting the safety of the operation, operators shall call hold on the countdown net. Launch control will abort the launch auto sequence immediately and proceed into the launch abort auto sequence. At T-minus 10 seconds, launch control will be hands-off and relying on automated abort criteria for the remainder of the count.
All right. We'll keep listening in for more call-outs on the net. And we'll try not to talk over them. Anyways, go ahead, Adrian.
Yeah, so there's a lot of always worry because he says very evil words we don't want to hear, like hold in there. This is a normal briefing. Don't worry about it. This is basically the briefing before propellant loading.
Cool. Blackhawk New Zealand. Thank you for the gifting the 5 red team memberships. Kirk, Adrian, say this generous person's name, please. Thank you.
Volker.
Thank you for that. Thank you for the $10 super chat, Kirk. Mans on Mars, thank you. They say if you had an all-time NASA fantasy baseball draft, I don't know sport. I don't know what that means. I mean, I know kind of what that means.
Basically, pick your three, like pick your perfect capsule.
Who would be the
lineup.
first three batters? I mean, of course Neil Armstrong, of course John Young, and oh man,
Victor Glover.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wow. That I think we can all agree.
So that's my line. Like I agree with. I think that's my pick.
Launch
Max,
auto sequence
any,
has started.
There you go. Launch auto sequence has started. Let's see. Angry American. Thank you for the super chat. They say, don't forget to smash the like button and kick the algorithm monster. Grass
There we
vent.
go. There's the timeline, by the way.
Yep, timeline coming up on the left-hand side. You can see that we have verified go for propellant load. And RP1 loading should have just started.
Yep, and we will see early signs of venting and everything at the base, usually between 33 and 31 minutes before T0. So it depends a lot on factors like humidity, wind. There's a lot of unknowns here, but usually about 2 to 4 minutes until we see like really signs of propellant loading.
I see a little bit of venting from the base of the vehicle there. The rocket is coming to life. So next up in about 13 minutes will be LOX chill down. That's what we always call the T-minus 20-minute vent, right?
Yes. That's sorry, I looked at something else. Can you repeat that again?
The T-minus 20-minute vent we have listed on our timeline in about 13 minutes as the LOX chill down.
Yes, that is basically it's when the when RP1 loading on the second stage is completed and they're preparing to LOX load it. Yes. So that's basically the switch from one propellant to the other.
Yep, for the second stage. I feel like maybe we should stop calling it the T-minus 20-minute vent and start calling it the LOX chill down vent. I don't know.
Yeah.
T-minus 20-minute vent is kind of has like it says what it is in the box, like on the box. I don't know.
It's like the T-minus 3 second ignition, right? It's kind of.
Yeah, good point. $20 super chat here from Grass Vent. They say, my dear Adrian, there is a wall between us now. I will still send loves from the other side. Send Russell gifts.
Thanks, Grass Vent.
I just read that on air. Doug Ramsey, thank you for the support. They say, has SpaceX optimized Falcon 9 flight plans to allow for so many more return to launch landings? Seems more frequent lately. Probably required to allow higher cadence without additional landing barges. I think you're dead on. They only have the two barges on the East Coast. And in order to fully realize a maximum cadence possible, they need to do more RTLS missions.
However, there's missions like this today where it just happens to work, right? There's other missions where they need the performance, and it's like they always would like to try an RTLS if it works. That is basically defined by performance. What they will do in the future is reserve the options to load less Starlings on a Starlink mission to allow them to RTLS. So they basically take a penalty in terms of Starlings they can transport, but for that they get an RTLS, and with that they can quickly turn around the booster again. So there's a balance they're trying to find here. Of course, missions like this today, they don't really have an influence on that, because Falcon 9, again, as we said before, it's kind of developed. So it's not like they will get huge performance gains and suddenly can RTLS. And also the weight of the payload is kind of not determined by them.
Good deal. I love these videos of the fairing just like loping along. It's amazing. But the fairing is just the little special container that holds the important part, of course, which is the satellite, which is PACE. So we have an interview here we can play back for y'all from Jeremy Wardell, PACE project scientist, to learn a little bit more about this mission. Let's give that a watch.
Okay, I am Jeremy Wardell, NASA Goddard Space Flight Center, and I am the PACE project scientist.
Can you share how the project team feels days before launch with a mission that is years in the making?
Some combination of nausea, exhilaration, relief, and anticipation. It's a lot, and it's wonderful to watch. So grateful for the team. Like, the scientists are nerding out, like myself. The engineers are working so hard, sleeplessly, exhausted. I'm just beside myself.
Absolutely, I can only imagine. How much information you expect to collect and manage?
This is going to be one of the very interesting parts of the discovery aspect of this mission. Just from the ocean color instrument alone, we're moving from this box of 8 crayons to 200. And that's just a ton of new rainbow spectral information. And then you have our 2 multi-angle polarimeters that not only measure colors of light, but they measure different polarization states. So imagine having polarized glasses on. And then they measure at multiple view angles ranging from 5 to 60. So there are thousands and thousands of unique pieces of information for every pixel on Earth we're going to collect. It's going to be a lot, and the innovation has really begun in terms of, well, how do you start using machine learning and other computer data science tools in those toolboxes to manage all of this information. So when I say we're going to have so much to grow into, which I say all of the time, there's so much. I'm not even sure, I'm too old for this, to be honest. I'm not sure I'm going to deal with it. So.
Absolutely. I remember that being one of those things that we talked about
at
Astrotech, and how are we going to really, like, we don't even know how we can use all of this data in the end.
Indeed, and in fact, since we have a mandate to make sure the information gets out on the street to anybody who wants to use it well within 24 hours of collection, we've really had to get clever on how to take things that we already know how to do and speed them up. Because otherwise, you know, you lose the whole community that wants real-time access to this. So it's been really interesting to watch.
I think that's really interesting that we've grown into real-time access capabilities too.
Oh yeah, it's really great for anybody who wants it.
Did any prior missions inspire this team to develop ways to dig deeper into these ecosystems?
Oh, we're standing on the shoulders of giants. You know, from the NASA point of view, it has been CZCS in the late 70s to CWIFS to multiple MODIS and multiple VIIRS instruments, and they don't have all the colors that we have, but their discovery was the stimulus to all of a sudden think, well, they're fantastic, but what do we do next? And you know, it takes time to build a mission, so that's what really catalyzed, you know, this 2-decade-long journey. But they're fabulous. There have been other multi-angle missions, MISR and Polder and others, and I know this is acronym soup, but I do want to acknowledge that this is truly, you know, a community effort, learning from the past, moving forward, getting international involvement. So the applications aspect of this, as more time passes and we get it out to more and more people, the discovery is boundless.
That was super cool. Thank you so much to Julia for getting that interview done, and for Jeremy for being in it. It's always awesome to hear about the mission from the people who are working on it. I can't even begin to wrap my head around the level of excitement and stress. I mean, I just photograph rockets, and I get stressed enough about taking a good photo. I can't imagine having like a significant portion of your career riding atop one of these things. All right, let's do some more recognition of people. Oh,
Just
go ahead.
a quick shout out here, because we are also, the photos apparently we are looking at right now are taken by our own Max.
Oh, these are great. I thought these were like PR photos from. Yeah, these are great, Max. Also,
Yeah.
How was that, Max, being in the clean room?
Well, hopefully y'all can hear me a little bit better now. Sorry about that earlier. But back on January 3rd, myself and a few other individuals were allowed to venture inside of the clean room environment where PACE was being held prior to encapsulation inside Falcon 9's fairings. it was by far and away the most extreme bunny suit situation I've ever been a part of. We had a similar situation for Psyche, but this was even more strict in that they taped up our gloves. We wore double masks. We wore a hood. We had full-on boots over our shoes that were also taped and tied. It was a really unique experience, and there was a lot of passionate people in that. I mean, you can tell, even though you're only able to see the scientists and engineers' eyes, through their bunny suit, you could tell that everyone was getting really excited, and that Pace's time to shine was coming soon.
That's amazing. I have to ask, Max, did they make you put a hairnet on your head?
Oh my gosh. So over the past few months, I've been growing a beard. Of course, I had a beard net and 2 masks on because I think that was the requirement. But I had just shaved my head the morning of, and yes, they still made me wear a hairnet below the hoodie, unfortunately.
I love it. I had to ask. I've never gotten to go into a clean room like this. I haven't had that experience yet, so I'm super jelly. But thank you for being out there and getting us these awesome photos. All right, let's do some thanking people. Astro Knucklehead, another one of those names we see all the time. They say, Jack Buyer Bacon Barn question, are all Falcon 9 fairings the same size or can they be enlarged or decreased depending on payload? They're all the same size for now, ... There is an extended fairing coming soon, TM. Right, Adrian?
Yes. It's coming for some Space Force missions. But it's
and also
like
Gateway,
this,
right? I think also Gateway.
Yeah, also Gateway, but it's kind of like this. Probably with Gateway slipping, it will probably not debut before Gateway. We'll see. It's kind of this unknown phantom. But yeah, Falcon 9 is sometimes volume limited and not weight limited. So that having a bigger fairing is probably something that comes in handy for them. We'll see how many missions that will use after all. But yeah, it's. I mean, you can see the fairing there, and again, that's all the space the satellite has. There's no more space here, so a quite capable rocket with sometimes maybe a fairing that would be nicer if it'd be a bit wider or a bit taller. But yeah, we will see the enlarged and bigger fairing hopefully soon.
But
Yeah,
it's also worth noting, even the way Falcon 9 stands now, that even though the fairings look kind of not small in pictures or our feeds, but the fairings that Falcon has, both Heavy and Falcon 9, they are actually humongous. They are gargantuan pieces of hardware, and the amount of volume you have in there is incredible.
Yeah,
I think it's one of those rocket things where it's hard to get a sense of scale because so often the photos and the cameras are just so far away. So even though when you know it's a large, several 100-foot tall structure, it still can kind of be hard to wrap your head around the scale. That's part of the reason I think why I like those videos of the encapsulated payload and fairing moving around, like being transported around, because that is a way that you can sort of, understand just how massive a fairing is, and you can see vehicles next to it or people walking next to it, that sort of thing.
100%. And last summer, I actually had the privilege of watching Euclid come rolling by the VAB at the press site, like probably 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Nice.
And I had a 16 to 35 mil lens on a full frame camera body. I think it was my 5D Mark III. And I thought I had aimed up high enough. And I think it was at either 16 or 18 mil, and I wasn't even close.
The way it goes sometimes. I was at 16 when they lifted Endeavour the other day, and they let us get so close that even 16 was not enough. I was like, I should have brought an 11 or an 8. Oh man. But good question from Astro Knucklehead. Seems like a lot of companies are trying to sort of market their upcoming launch capabilities with the distinct mention of a large fairing. Stage 1 Pogo. There we go. And for a long, it was almost like a knock on SpaceX, as big as the fairing on Falcon 9 is. It's like, oh, well, we have a much bigger fairing. You can launch something that's much more voluminous. But then, of course, SpaceX is like, oh, we'll build a bigger fairing. So here we go. Speaking of here we go, we're coming up on the T-minus 20-minute vent, notated in our timeline as LOX chill down. Adrian, tell us a little bit about what is going on with that vent. It's like clockwork, and I love it because it's like a friendly little everything's going okay. But for a little bit more of a technical explanation, lay it on us, buddy.
There
Stage
is,
2
and
RP1
it's,
load complete.
I mean, thank you for explanation there. That's basically the signal that we're getting here. Stage 2 RP1 loading is complete. So there's one more propellant they have to load into the second stage, which is the stage 2 liquid oxygen, which will begin in 4 minutes. Before they do that, however, they will start to purge and chill down these lines for the loading of liquid oxygen. And that's exactly what we see here, because in contrast to the first stage, where they load both at the same time, the second stage will first load RP1 and then load liquid oxygen. So that's the reason for this T-minus 20 minute and 20 seconds vent, and that's what we see here.
It's sort of analogous to the tower vent and the OLM vent at Starbase, where they are chilling down those prop lines in preparation of flowing cryogenics through them, so you don't get any kind of like thermal shock or anything like that. Pretty nifty. So here we are, just about 19 minutes to go. I do want to thank Sheriff Tracy, always hanging around, working SBL and hanging out in chat. Thank you, Sheriff Tracy, for the gifting a Red Team membership. Joe Howard gifting 5. Thank you so much. Paul McFadden also gifting 5, and Grassvent gifting 1 membership. If you got a gifted membership, I'm always going to say this. Make sure you thank the person who gifted them to you, because that's awful generous of them. Also, Daniel Hogbin gifting 5 Red Team memberships. Thank you for that. Max, it's not very windy out there, is it? The cloud of vapor is kind of just hanging around.
Well, it's been breezy here all day. Not as much as it has been over the past couple of days. There is a bit of a breeze coming off the water here tonight, and it might just look that way from this perspective because the wind's coming at us. But actually, I think the winds right now are a lot calmer than they were probably about 3 or 4 hours ago, thankfully. But that cloud is that is a massive cloud coming this way. It's pretty much obstructing the entire view of the rocket from our perspective, about 2 miles away.
Maybe we'll get some cool views, like the whole shock wave going through the vapor cloud kind of thing.
That's one of the best there is.
Just to add here, because we are talking about weather right now, the latest weather briefing saw a chance of more than 95% go.
Brilliant. That was my next question. You read my mind, Adrian.
We are just aligned here.
Man's on Mars, thank you for the super chat. They say 2 minutes left in the Space Bowl, down by 6. Ball on your own 20-yard line, which NSF person... What did I just read? I don't know sports. Which NSF personality drives you down the field for the win? I have no idea. I'm gonna say Crispy. No, wait, DOS. I picked DOS.
I have no idea.
Michael Tompkins Jr., thank you for the super chat. They say, what is each of your favorite rockets that fly today? Ooh.
Oh boy.
Delta IV Heavy.
Fly today.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Delta IV Heavy just because that won't be applicable as an answer coming March. So I'm gonna go with Delta IV Heavy. Max?
That's tough. Oh boy.
Pick a favorite child.
That's almost impossible, Jack. I also will say Delta IV Heavy, just because no other rocket sets itself literally on fire at engine ignition and lumbers off the pad the way it does, and that will only happen once more in history.
Right.
So I think all of our cop-out answers tonight will be Delta IV Heavy.
It's not
Stage 2 LOX load has started.
There
we go. LOX load has started for the second stage.
I like this call right now.
I don't think it's a cop-out answer. I really don't. It's a beautiful rocket. It runs hydrolox, and the shock diamonds are insanely beautiful, and it sets itself on fire, and there's only one more. I mean, come on. If there's ever a time to answer this question with Delta IV Heavy, it's now.
What's your favorite rocket that has not flown yet?
Ooh.
That has not flown yet? Ooh,
yeah.
Boy.
That's tough. I would say somewhere it's like a tie between Neutron and Terran R. Oh, that's really tough. Max?
I would also probably have to say Terran R, to be honest with you.
It's a good answer.
New Glenn.
Oh, New Glenn is yes. Yeah, New Glenn's gonna be sick. I should have thought about that. I keep forgetting we're like actually about to have some New Glenn action here soon.
And
I mean,
maybe
it's
that's
a beauty.
intentional for blue.
It's a beauty. Honestly, I'm looking forward to that.
Good stuff. Good question from Michael Tompkins Jr. Christoph, thank you for getting something from the store. What did they pick up from the store? They say, "Dear NSF team, thank you for all your great work. Can't wait to watch Starship IFT3 on your channel. Greetings from Germany." Oh, they got the Starship Assembly shirt. That is an oldie but a goodie. That's like one of my favorite designs that we ever did. Like we did that in collaboration with Raphael.
Yes.
It's like an IKEA instruction manual on how to build a starship, which hilariously, we did that so long ago they probably don't build them like that anymore, but so it goes. It's like vintage. It's vintage.
I also want to shout out Sean here with the answer SLS Block 1B with the exploration upper stage, and I think that's a very valid answer because EUS SLS looks gorgeous.
Yeah, that's a really good answer. Props to Sean for that one. Like Sean? Like our Sean?
Yes, our Sean.
What's up, Sean? Revhead, thanks for gifting 5 Red Team memberships. And Brian Green, thank you for the super chat and telling people to hit the like button. And also for gifting a Red Team membership. Y'all are the best. Thank you for all of the support tonight. So coming up, we have Falcon 9 engine chill at 7 minutes to go. We have Strongback retrack at 4 minutes 30 seconds. And Falcon 9 going into startup at 1 minute as usual. So we're getting into the meat of it. Max, whenever you got to go and do camera stuff, say the word, but I know we still got you for a little bit longer. But feel free to interrupt me.
No, you're good. I still have a few more minutes. I would say probably give it another 7 or 8 minutes, but I can hang around for now.
Can we talk shop? Like, what camera are you running tonight?
Well, I have the broadcast camera running up today, and then for additional video, I have my Canon 5D Mark IV with a Sigma 60-600 lens. And because we're so close, I'm not even all the way at 600 mil. I think I'm just shy of 250 at the moment, and then I have my 5D Mark III. I have it positioned, aiming up in the sky at a very certain spot, and I'm kind of shooting blind here, but hopefully it will gather a long exposure of the MECO and boost back, and then also in the same frame re-entry. So I've only gotten this shot. I got this shot once before for one of the OneWeb missions, I think early last year, from a perspective north of the Cape. And it just so happens that from where we are watching tonight from the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, that if you are shooting at a certain focal length, you can get both in one frame. So
That's excellent.
I have it measured as precisely as I guess an iPhone can with its compass and also an angle measurer. I'm not sure what the actual tool name is.
Angulometer.
Angulometer. Well, yeah, we'll go with that. I have it aimed at about 70 mil, looking right up into the sky, and I guess we will see how I did.
All right, well, that is fascinating. I'm glad I asked. Good luck on that shot. That is a shot that I have tried to shoot. I've seen other people absolutely nail. I think Kraus has nailed that a couple times at least. It's such a cool shot, so I hope you get it. I hope I can get it someday too, because it's so cool.
And thankfully, it looks like the clouds are just starting to thin out. They are coming from the east right now, and it looks like we are coming into a clear patch. So all good news here on this run so far.
Hooray. I like good news. Hayes Blaze is asking, is this flight using a reused Falcon 9? Yes, this is B1081.4, right, Adrian?
Yes, it's using a reused first stage Falcon 9 booster that will fly for the 4th time today. It's basically it's just a baby, right? Just 4 flights.
It's just a little guy.
Yeah, barely out of kindergarten or something like that.
Rocket Garden.
Rocket Garden. That's in Boca.
There's more than one.
Who?
Let's see. Mimi is asking, what is going on with the Starship? We're about 10 minutes to go. so we can't really wax on for a long period of time about Starship, but Adrian, you did get a note from the FAA today, did you not?
Yeah, we got a
Spacecraft is on
note. So
internal
we are.
power.
There we go. Spacecraft on internal power. We got a note that basically the FAA is still waiting on some paperwork from SpaceX to modify the launch license for the third flight. And of course, we are awaiting the return of Ship 28 and Booster 10 to the launch pad for a full stack, and then hopefully a launch maybe around March. So that's the quick summary here while we are looking at Falcon 9.
That is a fantastic quick summary. Congratulations. And we are now under 10 minutes to go. Excellently done, sir. Here's kind of a fun one. Kanan is asking, of any celestial body, what would you most want to go to regardless of gear? Planets like Mars or Venus, or moons like Europa, Callisto, Titan, Triton, or any other places? I'm going to say Saturn, because I want to see rings, and also what's up with that hexagon on its north pole. But maybe like some of the moons would probably be cooler. Adrian, where would you go of any celestial body?
We are kind of ignoring like, hey, you would die there, right?
It says regardless of gear. It says regardless of
Okay.
gear, so I'm taking that to mean we're ignoring that part.
Okay. Venus, I think. Venus or Mars? Maybe that's a bit classic to say, but also, honestly, like if I had the choice, the moon. Like seeing the Earth that close from an external perspective sounds. Maybe that's a boring answer, but I don't know. Like seeing the whole Earth externally, I think it's a magical thing.
That is not a boring answer. That's a fantastic answer. Max, any thoughts?
I'm surprised neither of you have mentioned Callisto or Europa yet.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I was thinking it would be cool to do one of the like water moons or potential water moons, but I don't know. I went Saturn, and I'm not taking it back. Super good question. Thank you for that one, Kenan. Let's see here. 8 minutes to go. Chris Bishop is asking, oh, this is interesting. With the new crew access arm, are the astronauts using a smartphone? Since the famous rotary phone from shuttle era lore that they use at Pad 39A won't exist at Slick 40 because it never did. Any thoughts on what phone they might end up using if that tradition is continued, Max?
What if they just installed a landline just because?
That would be cool. I mean, Bell still makes.
It would be.
AT&T still makes telephones. It's still a thing.
I mean, astronauts they are allowed to bring their cell phones up into space, at least aboard Dragon. So it could be their cell phone. I mean, I think us who are still a fan of the lore of the old landline over at Pad A, maybe just for fun, they installed one over at 40. But chances are it will be probably one of their smartphones.
This is a really good question. I'm interested to see what ends up happening there.
Engine chill has
Do we
started.
know? Engine chill has started. Fantastic. Do we know what the first crew mission will be from Slick 40?
I do not think that has been fully decided yet. There were some talks about it maybe being an axiom. Like I know there were like, but I do not think that it's like fully set in stone yet.
All right, so we'll wait to see how that shakes out. Max, we got to let you go do camera stuff, don't we?
It is unfortunately that time, gentlemen. But hopefully,
Stage 1 RP1 load is complete.
And I will see you boys on the other side.
Yep, happy shooting, get the good stuff, and we'll see you on the other side. And you heard the call out on the net there that stage 1 RP1 load? Was that stage 2?
That's with, let me open the countdown here. Sorry, but it should be stage 1, if I recall correctly here.
Excellent.
Yes,
stage 1.
Stage 1.
Pacific Northwest UT, PN what? I never know how to say this person's name. Thank you for gifting 5 red team memberships. There, you can see on the timeline. Yeah, that was stage 1.
Next
Michael,
up is the strong back retract in just 1 minute.
right, it'll lean back a little bit before launch, and then at launch itself, it leans back much more in a sort of a faster way. Michael how do I say this? McRory? There we go, Michael McRory. They say, thanks, you got my name right. Don't call me McGregory. GW Law School did not, in front of my entire family, paid them over 100 grand, but thanks again. Okay, sounds like that wasn't cool. But thanks for the support. Angry American.
Falcon 9 tanks are pressurizing for strong back retract.
There we go.
Excellent. Angry American, thanks for the super chat. They say 4.5k plus watching, only 1.1k likes. Smash the like. I'm not saying it. I'm just reading their super chat. So
Yeah, you didn't say it. It was just
our last NSF live where EJ went full YouTuber. That was
Strike retract is started.
That was amazing.
We will now see you can already see it. You can already see the strong back clamps opening there. And the strong back will move a bit away from the rocket to make sure it's not that close to the rocket anymore.
Good deal. 4 minutes to go. Again, it's a functionally instantaneous window. So if anything happens from this point out, it will be a no-go for tonight. But so far, everything is going great. Weather is fine, and the vehicle is getting topped up.
LD, this is NLM on Countdown Net. LD, PACE is go for launch. Copy.
Yes.
All right, let's do this.
We like go for launches.
I like having the countdown net. We don't get that on every mission, and I'm just so thankful that we're getting these excellent views and we're getting these, getting the nets, because it's always a treat to hear what's going on.
Just to add here, NLM stands for NASA Launch Manager, which is, of course, with the mission being heavy NASA involved, they also have part of the polling here where they basically sign off for this mission.
Good deal. 3 minutes to go. Michael Tompkins Jr., thank you for the support. They say, how many Falcon 9 rockets does SpaceX currently have total?
Stage 1 LOX load is complete.
LOX load is complete. According to Alex, they have about 15 boosters total right now.
And just to point out here, there's always this, some of these boosters are like, are they retired? Are they still coming back? And there's always the question of like, is this still active? Like, there are some that have like a small question mark sometimes next to them.
And Apocalypse Cow, thank you for gifting 5 red team memberships. Seriously, we cannot do what we do without the members. So thank you to everyone that is a member. Thank you to everyone that gifts a membership. If you got a membership, be sure to check out the community page on YouTube and see all the cool perks that you now have access to. If you're Capcom level and above, you get Discord access. So be sure to pop into the Discord and say hey.
Stage 2 LOX load is complete.
All right. Under 2 minutes to go now. At T-minus 1 minute, the vehicle will take control with its own computers. Right, Adrian?
Yes. So we are crunch time here.
Ground gas closeout.
Looking good so far. And again, just to recap, this booster will fly to the mission to space and then try to attempt to land on landing zone 1. So no drone ship landing today. It will be trying to land close by.
Right, so once it's launched, the game isn't over. We are getting it coming back. Hopefully we get some awesome sonic booms and some awesome RTLS views.
Falcon 9
here we go.
is in startup.
Yep.
Falcon 9 is in startup. We're under a minute to go. I don't even want to talk. I just want to listen to the net.
SpaceX launch director, go for launch.
Yes.
Go for launch.
Let's
40
launch some
seconds.
science.
More science, more better. I think we can all agree.
Yes. 30
T-minus
seconds
30
to go. Ha, I said it first.
W.
seconds. 15 seconds. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Engines full power. And liftoff of Falcon 9 carrying NASA PACE. Go Falcon, go NASA LSP.
Vehicle pitching downrange. Stage 1 propulsion is nominal. Power and telemetry nominal. Vehicle supersonic. Max Q.
Here we go.
I never know when to start talking again, especially when we get audio that's that delightful.
MVAC engine
There you
show
go.
has started.
Look at that shot of the exhaust plume. You can, what is this, like a 4,000 millimeter lens? Some kind of telescope? That's gorgeous.
That's Sawyer, by the way, here, I think.
Oh, this shot here is Sawyer?
Yeah, that should be Sawyer.
Nice. It's always interesting to see the different angles on an RTLS, so that's interesting that we'll have. And look at, you can see the vehicle gimbaling.
You can see basically the dog leg here, right?
Yeah, that's wild.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was distinctly visible in the exhaust plume. So Sawyer is downrange, which means the rocket should basically go right past and or over him. So that'll be really interesting to see.
Miko.
There you go, Miko.
Stage separation confirmed.
And I believe we have, if I see this correctly, I have good news.
Ignition.
Stage 1 boost
Yes,
startup.
we have good news here. No stubby nozzle.
No stubby nozzle. Also, look at that first stage just getting roasted. And there you can see the exhaust plume interaction. Oh, gorgeous views tonight.
I feel like the engines turning was the equivalent of like having like loud tires during like a heavy corner with a car.
It's like Falcon 9 drift.
Yeah.
Oh, look at Sawyer Cam! Look at Sawyer Cam! That's the Falcon Nebula we were talking about earlier. That is the exhaust plume from the first stage boost back and the second stage powering into orbit. Both plumes from both segments of the vehicle interacting. And you can see the first stage on Sawyer's screen, or Sawyer's camera, and there you can see shutdown. Excellent. All right, you know what? I think I'm rapidly becoming a fan of the Southern Polar Corridor. I can't believe I'm saying this out loud.
But that, everybody.
Yeah, everyone's going to clip that and play me back the audio for eternity. But look at Sawyer's cam. You can see the second stage continuing on and just really cooking at this point.
Yeah, it's in full-on like doglegging and making sure to reach this southern corridor here.
So. Yeah, that's wild. Are they actually overflying the tip of Florida? Did I see that trajectory map right? That's crazy.
Yes.
Pairing separation confirmed.
And there's PACE.
Awesome. It looked like the fairing immediately was illuminated by the glow from the second stage nozzle. Like as soon as it was separated. That was cool.
Yep. It's very bright.
You got to radiate that heat away.
And with this, we are now 4 minutes and 20 seconds into the mission. The next thing we will see is the entry burn of the first stage at about 5 minutes and 51 seconds.
Sawyer still has the second stage. That's outstanding.
Absolutely stunning views tonight.
Yeah, and audio for that matter.
Yeah. I know it's called pace, but it's certainly building up a lot of speed right now.
You could say it's not really pacing itself.
No.
I'm angry about that one.
Nominal trajectory.
Yeah.
Nominal trajectory was just called?
We like nominal trajectory.
Yes. Hey Adrian, I dare you to lick the stubby nozzle.
No.
Aw. How about the frosty booster?
There we go. There's the booster. There's Florida.
Is this like is this IR or is this really high ISO? Either way, it's cool.
I think that's really high ISO. We will see when the light, the engine turns on.
Yeah, when they turn the light on.
Yeah, like somebody turns the light on and we can see better.
Entry burn startup.
That's the true reason for the entry burn. They're not actually doing it to slow themselves down. They just want to have some light.
Yeah, they need to see where they're going. There we go. We have entry burn.
Wow.
Coming through the clouds. Look at that.
Oh my god, look at that.
Stage 2
Falcon
FPS
9.
saved.
Literally fighting fire with fire as it hits the
Stage
denser
1
part of
FPS
the
is
atmosphere.
saved.
A lot of callouts. We have FTS saved on the first and second stage. And that looked like a textbook entry burn.
And we have the landing burn start at 6 minutes and 58 seconds.
Adrian, I propose at the beginning of landing burn, we cease talking and listen for the sonic booms, because I always miss when they happen.
Let's do that.
Here we go.
Stage 1 transonic. Stage 1 landing burn. Landing leg deploy. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
And landing confirmed. Sonic booms, question mark? Hey, there we go. It's always way longer after you think they're going to be.
Yep. But another touchdown and it levels up to level 5.
Good deal.
Actually, not that long until spacecraft separation here. The spacecraft pace will separate at 12 minutes and 22 seconds. So just 4 minutes from now, the second stage will burn for about 2 more minutes. And then they have like 2 minutes to verify and making sure everything is good, and then they separate.
All right. So a little bit longer to go to get PACE on its way. Adrian, do you know what the orbital situation for PACE is once it is separated from the second stage? I imagine it's got to take some time. Does it have to circularize? Like, do we know how long it'll be until it gets into an operational position?
Yeah, the target orbit is a low Earth orbit at 676 kilometers circular and a 98-degree inclination. I have to look up how long until operational. I have to totally be honest here. But usually it takes some time. I will look up though and make sure we can get that information if it's already published. How long they will need to get operational.
Good deal. Oh man, what a outstanding launch tonight. Second stage still doing its job, muscling this thing into space.
This is a really long burn.
Yeah, this is a long burn. So you said there's going to be about 2 minutes of coast before the satellite separates, right?
Yep. So right now, so right now they have a post-launch assessment review, which basically will determine if the spacecraft is ready to operate with full routine operations in April on their timeline.
Got it. It's so wild seeing the plume from these engines go from so confined to just basically escaping all directions as soon as it hits the end of the nozzle.
I'm actually.
There you go.
Seco.
There we go. All right, now we coast for a little bit and make sure we can release this satellite.
We are waiting for normal orbit confirmation.
You can see the second stage doing some venting there. Always love to see the nozzle starting to cool down as well.
Yep. It's a lot of heat that they have now to dispose. Oh, it's a daylight.
Look at that. It's coming into daylight. Oh no, switch back, switch back.
That's beautiful. What a timing with the daylight here. Just after Seco.
This is definitely one to remember. What a beautiful launch.
And about 1 more minute until spacecraft separation there.
All right,
the objects you
by.
can see there, by the way, is mostly ice. Just to point that out.
Yeah, thanks for that. People are always like, "Is that aliens?" It's like, no, it's just ice.
It's ice.
Wait, so is it in
it's
sunrise?
It's not daytime.
It's not daytime. They have a light on the second stage. Yeah, Tim is even in chat. Hey, Tim, saying not daylight. I don't think.
Wow,
So
that's the light they have on the second stage. Sorry,
Right.
like that's totally caught me off guard. I thought that was daylight.
Yeah, there was like that lens flare on the other camera for a second there. I was like, what's going on there? Is that orbital sunrise?
Thanks for fact checking us there.
Tim in chat says, Brighty McLight. I would go with Lighty McBright, but to each their own.
That's good.
Payload separation confirmed.
There we go. PACE is on its way. Max, how are you feeling? I know you need to get on the road, but if you want to give us a 30-second soundbite before you do, we're all ears as we watch PACE float away.
That was the most intense launch I've heard in quite some time. I mean, we heard it before even the exhaust was fully clear of the top of the towers. That rattled pretty much all of us to our core, all the way up. And then the sonic booms from where we are just absolutely smacked us in the face. I was not prepared for how hard they hit. But that was an absolutely tremendous launch. And thankfully the clouds held off and we had a great view of the boost back nebula as well. So spectacular all around.
Excellent. Well, thank you once again, Max, for being out there in the field and capturing those awesome views for us. We'll look forward to checking your Twitter feed for any cool imagery that you captured and posted. And of course, we'll post all that stuff for members as well. So thanks, Max.
Thank you, chaps.
Look at this view. This is gorgeous. PACE just drifting away. Godspeed, little doodle. There's a Simpsons reference for you that like nobody will get.
And it's now you can, by the way, see it's not in daylight.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Philip Darby, thank you for the super chat. They say it's setting the pace. That diabetic kid, thank you for the support. They say they said they could see it this clear through separation from Charleston, South Carolina. Really? Really? South Carolina, but it went straight south.
I guess there's like a phase where it's still going mostly up, where you can maybe see it a bit downrange.
Now I want to like go into Flight Club and look at the visibility maps.
Yeah.
Roseanne DeVasto, thank you for the support. They say Sonic Boom still reverberating in Port St. John. It sounds like, by all accounts, this was a really cool launch, both from an audio and visual perspective.
Our back channel
ET?
is tracking the ice mouses on the second stage.
I wasn't gonna say it, but you did, so we'll keep our eye on the ice mouse, which is a thing apparently. ET, thank you for the support. They say from Orlando, the plume interaction was awesome. I'm happy for you. And Joel M, thank you for the super chat. Once again, thank you everybody for all of the support.
That's a cool wall design there.
That is cool. It's like a smaller, more bespoke mission control room. All right. I think we have some replays coming here, because that was just so beautiful. So we will stand by for that. Adrian, if people join the stream after we talked about it, maybe give us a little bit of a rundown on what exactly PACE is going to be doing once it's ready to go.
Yeah, for sure. The PACE stands for Plankton, Aerosol, Cloud, Ocean Ecosystem, and is a NASA Earth observation satellite. So it's mainly conducting, looking at phytoplankton and understanding of ocean and air quality based on this. So it's basically an environmental satellite to help us find out more about our planet and especially the changes that our planet is undergoing. And for that, it will monitor all of these different climate and ecosystems and help us, again, science a bit more about our atmosphere and our oceans.
You say science a bit more?
Science a bit more, yes.
I mean, we should all science a bit more, I think, is a fair statement. Solar array deploy is underway. Excellent. Christopher Hella says, Jack, you can't complain when SpaceX switches camera views. Your camera guy switching camera 753 times during a landing. That might not have been us. We get some feeds. We use some feeds, and you know what? I complain. If I know you're not new to this stream. I see your name pop up all the time. Half the time I'm just complaining for something to do. All right. Again, we have some replays coming, so stand by for that. El Hultio? I don't know how to say your name, but they say old guy yells at camera views. Come on, I'm not that old. I'm not that old. I'm so glad Max isn't here because he'd be like, "You're old, Jack." That's my Max impression. Let's see here. We answered Justin's question about which mission was the first stubby nozzle. That was Transporter 7, but we didn't get a stubby nozzle tonight. We had the correct nozzle.
Yes.
And let's see. Oh, we have replays. Stand by for replays. Monty in chat says, not so old guy yells at camera views. Winking emoji. Thanks. Thanks, Monty. Let's see. Can I see replay number 1? I just did that. I don't think Kevin's ready. I just wanted to see if he was ready. Let's see. While we wait for him to queue those up. Yeah, Ninja Guy Dan, that was Frost peeling off the nozzle. That is a common thing. Whoa, everyday astronaut. Who's that? What's up, Tim? Thanks for the super chat. They say, so wait, can we talk about the overflying Florida thing more? That's a first, right? Is Falcon 9 just that reliable? Thanks, guys. This is a great question. We sort of just like glossed right over it before launch, but yeah, if you look at the trajectory, it's kind of insane. They clipped the tip of Florida there, and yeah, I think that's the first time they've done that.
This was actually the 12th time they've done this, according to Alex.
Well, they've used the Southern Polar Corridor that many times, but see, I guess on our trajectory, it's not quite clipping.
I feel like it's a combination of the believing in Falcon 9 itself and also the FTS and everything.
Right.
And also Falcon 9 at that point has a significant height, right? So that's also probably helping. Plus, you kinda also have to think about the point, like where would the parts of the rocket actually come down, right? Because since it's doing the dog leg, it's kind of like moving the point where the trajectory right now is pointing to around Florida, right?
Yeah, I saw a graphic earlier today that looked like it was clipping over like part of land, but I guess with this trajectory that we have here, it's not. It's just skirting around Florida, as you can see. But as you were saying, Adrian, it's the Southern Polar Corridor is basically enabled by Falcon 9's reliability, and the fact that the first stage is not doing the majority of that trajectory there. That's all the second stage. It's a much smaller thing. Those sort of things are dictated, the keep out zones, the hazard zones, where they can overfly, all by, it's like a probability that a chunk of debris large enough to cause injury or significant property damage will hit something. And I think Falcon 9 is just incredibly reliable at this point, enabling it to do things that you might not see otherwise. I mean, here in California, they regularly overfly, I think it's Jalama or Jalama Beach. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that. Like where people are camping. And that's why there's a lot of Vandy night missions, because there's less people at the beach at that time, and so the risk is at an acceptable level. It's a whole thing. But suffice to say, Falcon 9 has proven itself for reliability, and it enables to do some interesting things. Thank you, Tim, for that super chat. The Diabetic Kid, thanks for the support. They say I have some shots on my page of launches from Charleston. Got a lot of good shots. Awesome. Angry American, thank you for the support. They say no complaint here. I have been watching NSF for years. Best space coverage and the 24/7 lives cams. Texas Tank Watchers, NSF is the best. Thank you, Angry American, for the kind words. Let's see here. Keiichi, they say, I thought Earth observation sats usually go to a high or polar orbit. My question is, why no Vandy? And that is precisely what we are talking about with the Southern Polar Corridor. They can launch to the south from Florida now, which is why I hate the Southern Polar Corridor.
Because you said you love it.
They're stealing my missions. You can't prove that.
I have a clip.
I don't think that's real. I don't think
I will tweet it.
Is this because I asked everyone to send you spiders that one time?
That one time? You mean 3 times already? My DMs are cursed.
That's what you get. So Alex is saying, as to the question of not doing this launch from Vandenberg and doing it from the Cape instead, according to SpaceX on the pre-launch press briefing, the reason is literally just because the science team is closer to the Cape. As part of their bid to launch PACE, they had the possibility to launch from either Vandy or Florida, and they asked the teams what they preferred, and they were like, Florida, it's closer. So that's it. That's all. Nothing special. Thank you for that, Alex. That's a good bit of beta there. All right. I think we have replays. Do we have replays? That's somebody's face. That's terrifying.
Sawyer's faced.
Is that a Sawyer? Do we have a Sawyer cam?
I'm not sure what's happening here. There we go.
I'm not loving the mission control. Like the mission control, everyone looks very serious right now. I'm sure I'm just being paranoid. And we have an update from Max in our back channel, no dice, on the Long Expo. It's a really hard shot to get. Like I said, I've tried. I have not gotten it. And here is the replay. I love this angle with the NASA building. That's the press building, actually, if you didn't know that, at the press site.
Oh, so they are currently waiting on getting the signal that PACE is power positive, so they're waiting to reach sunlight, hence serious phases. It's focus time with NASA mission control, with an insider that not a lot of people will get.
It's like a joke for 5 people. But look, Adrian, replays. I love that sonic squeal.
Yes. I love how it just illuminates kind of the whole horizon.
Yeah, and it's not even solid motors or anything. It's just Falcon 9 lighting up the night sky.
Good old kerosene.
All right, let's listen again, and listen specifically for that crazy shrieking sound from the VAB. There it is. You love to hear it.
Amazing.
The sound of air being torn asunder at a molecular level.
Oh my god, look at this.
Gorgeous. The cloud layer really making things look that much cooler.
Sometimes clouds are good.
Sometimes. Big asterisk there. Oh, and you can see the light on the water once it gets high enough. That's beautiful.
Yes.
And then watch, it'll go through the clouds and then disappear.
Whoop. Okay, that's a cool effect.
We'll never get tired of hearing sonic squeal from the vehicle assembly. I almost called it the Vandenberg assembly building. What's wrong with my brain? All right, here's another replay.
That's totally new. Wow.
You can hear someone's shutter going like crazy. That was amazing audio.
I love these deep audios, like these when you hear it's almost like rattling through the air.
Yeah, it's really a sound that is not like any other thing on the planet.
I love it.
So yeah, I think that was the camera Max was operating, and he was not kidding that audio was serious. That was really cool. Speaking of serious, Mission Control waiting for confirmation that the spacecraft is power positive, and we are into that window to get confirmation of that milestone. So we're standing by for confirmation as a truck drives by? Question mark?
Yeah. Sounds like that.
Alright, it's gone.
So we are waiting here for happy faces and happy noises as they see that confirmation.
Mans on Mars, thank you for the generous super chat there. They say, when will Artemis 2 launch? Specific dates on record. What's your guess? Adrian, go first.
Whoa. Can I get like a second to talk to think about this?
Nope, go first. Go now. Go. Now.
I'm gonna say February 2026.
Oof. I'd believe it though, but oof.
I mean, it's right now. It's September 2025. It's not that much of a slip I'm predicting here.
Still oof. I mean, even when Artemis 1 launched, I remember immediately thinking like, oh, why do we have to wait so long for the next one? That was awesome. But yeah, so it goes. Tress909, thanks for becoming a Red Team member. Matthew Faustini, thank you so much for the super chat. They say, amazing view from Pinellas, Tampa Bay. Could see first, second, amazing plume, and entry burn, just beautiful. That's awesome. That's good to know. I grew up in Pinellas County, believe it or not. I remember watching shuttle launches from my backyard. Joel M., thank you for the support. They say, can you tell me how the Q got into the max dynamic pressure against the rocket? I believe Q is shorthand notation in like the formula. So it just gets shortened to max Q because it's faster to say that than max dynamic pressure.
Yeah, it's a moment of peak mechanical stress on the rocket. And we are still waiting for that confirmation of power positivity.
We are waiting on confirmation. Completely normal. This is not unexpected. We are just waiting for the confirmation. And as a bonus, as we wait, we will get some photos coming in from the field. I know Sawyer was shooting some photos, and Max as well. So hopefully we get some cool media from them as we are at T plus 32 minutes and counting. Let's see. Man, I'm sad Max had to go. I want to hear more about how that launch was, because holy cow, those replays got me fired up.
I'm just... Okay. I'm right now in just anxiety mode where I'm like, I just want this confirmation, you know? And I cannot even imagine how they feel, right? That worked on the spacecraft, that operated. That's a whole different dimension.
Right?
So, yeah. Just waiting here for that confirmation. They probably want to like double check everything they get, because you don't want to...
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't you?
Oh, I see clapping.
That's good. It's a good sign.
That looks very good. That looks like a very good sign there.
The Mission Director Center. The spacecraft team happy to report that they have power positive on the PACE spacecraft. Again, the final milestone, power positive on the solar arrays on the PACE spacecraft. That's great news. Congratulations to the PACE team.
Excellent. That was
Somebody
what we
chat
were
saying
waiting
always
for.
a good sign when the nerds are clapping.
Yes, always a good sign. Oh, excellent. So now we get to have some more science as a result of
Yes.
all of the effort on behalf of SpaceX and NASA. Fantastic. Ooh, do we have a look at the... Okay. We have a photo from Sawyer. Can we get that? Can we get that on stream? This is cool. This is nifty. Stand by for that. I love the chat is doing the applause as well. It's like we're all in the room. We're all hanging out in the room together. Look at that. So you can see first stage going up and coming down, and the second stage, and the whole entire crazy dog leg as well. Cool shot from Sawyer. Look at that entry burn. Nice work, buddy. I can't wait till it's not like insanely stormy here and we can get a night launch that is actually shootable. Although I am happy for the rain. All right, well, I think with that, we will wrap things up. Alex says in our back channel, that's $800 million going into orbit. I mean, not wrong. Cool. Well, thank you everybody for watching. That was a heck of a stream. We hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you so much to Max for being out in the field and shooting the launch for us. We can get his info up on screen. There you go. You can see his Twitter handle is @_MGDE_. So make sure you're following him. We also had Sawyer out there. You just saw his amazing photo. Sawyer was downrange for tonight's launch, and we'll get his info up on screen as well. Uh-oh, I'm getting the Oscar outro music. There you can see Sawyer's Twitter handle is the NASA Man. Make sure you're following Sawyer for all of the good stuff he posts. Really? You're going to turn it up on me? We also had Adrian on commentary. Adrian, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me. What a beautiful launch.
Indeed. And also in our in the background, we had Kevin Michael Reed operating tonight's stream. So thank you, Kevin, for doing that. And I am Jack Beyer, your host for this evening. Thank you all for putting up with me. And we will see you for the next one.
And here we go. We have liftoff.
Propulsion continues to be nominal.
R68 chamber pressure looks good.
Doubling up. Roger, planet.
Water towers fly! Yes! Tango down to nominal.
Fighting outside FD off. Bring in FD off. It's orange!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Decollage.
What is it?
Put that in the big bag, Eagle.
343 unfolds to go.
Indeed.
We rise together back to the moon and beyond.
This methane will be igniting in the flare, correct?